Welcome to Vital Minimal, philosophy and minimalism from men who refuse to live on autopilot. You're going to die. I'm going to die. Everyone you know is going to die, and probably sooner than you think. The average life expectancy in the United States is 77 years. That's approximately 28,000 days. If you are 30 years old, you've already consumed 11,000 of those days. You have 17,000 left. Sounds like a lot? Divide by 365. That's 46 years. But here's the question nobody wants to answer. How many of those years will you actually live with full health, energy, and mental clarity? The math is brutal, but it's necessary. Modern society has built a collective delusion. We act as if we're immortal. We plan decades ahead. We postpone important conversations. We save our best clothes for special occasions that may never come. We accumulate objects we'll never use. We live as if time is infinite. But here's the truth nobody wants to face. You are dying right now. As you listen to this, every second that passes is a second you don't get back. It's not dramatic, it's mathematical. And your refusal to accept this reality is destroying the quality of your life. The Stoics understood something revolutionary 2,000 years ago. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, wrote in his Meditations, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." He wasn't being morbid, he was being lucid. The awareness of death isn't a curse, it's the antidote to mediocrity. It's what separates men who live intensely from men who merely exist. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, wrote that we're not given a short life, we make it short by wasting it. The problem isn't that life is too brief. The problem is that we treat it like it's endless. There's a fascinating study from Stanford University that tracked terminal patients. You know what they discovered? When confronted with the imminence of death, these people reported the highest levels of clarity and satisfaction with the decisions they made in their final weeks. Not because they were happy to die, but because proximity to death eliminated all the fog. Suddenly, they knew exactly what mattered and what didn't. The problem is that most people only reach this clarity when it's too late. Memento Mori gives you that clarity now while you still have time to act. Memento Mori. Remember, you will die. This Latin phrase isn't a sentence of depression. It's a tool of absolute clarity. When you really internalize your mortality, something extraordinary happens. The superficial disappears. Idiotic arguments lose their power. Objects lose their hold. Other people's opinions lose relevance. What remains is only the essential: time, health, real connections, and purpose. The awareness of death doesn't diminish the value of your life. It amplifies it exponentially. Exactly the opposite. Everything matters. Stop wasting. That's intellectual laziness disguised as philosophy. The correct conclusion is exactly the opposite. Precisely because you're going to die, everything matters. Every word you speak, every hour you invest, every person you embrace, every project you create. Your mortality doesn't diminish value, it demands that you stop wasting your finite existence on things that don't deserve it. Let's make this practical. First, you need to confront your mortality mathematically, not abstractly. Calculate how many days you probably have. Use 77 years as a baseline. Be optimistic. Use 80 if you want. Now, subtract your current age. Multiply by 365. That's your approximate number of days. Write this number somewhere visible, not to depress you, but to wake you up. Every morning, when you see that number, you'll be forced to ask, Is what I'm about to do today worth one of these irreplaceable days? Second, practice Stoic visualization of death. Once a week, set aside 10 minutes. Close your eyes and imagine you died today. Who would come to your funeral? What would they say about you? Is there any emotional debt unpaid? Any project unfinished that truly matters? Any person you never told how much you love them? This isn't morbidity, it's existential maintenance. It's how you clean the fog and see what actually matters. When you anticipate your death regularly, it loses its power to paralyze you. Instead, it becomes a tool for clarity. Third, apply the mortality filter to your daily decisions. Before accepting any commitment, ask, if I had 6 months to live, would this be on my agenda? Before buying any object, ask, does this add to or subtract from the essence of my life? Before entering any argument, ask, on my deathbed, will this have mattered? Death awareness is the most efficient bullshit detector ever invented. It cuts through social obligation, material temptation, and ego-driven nonsense with surgical precision. Use it ruthlessly. Here's what transforms when you truly live with Memento Mori. First, diffuse anxiety disappears. You know what you're building, so uncertainty doesn't paralyze you. Second, decisions become simple. Does this serve my purpose? Yes, I do it. No, I eliminate it. Third, you develop real resilience. When you have a strong enough why, you can endure any how. Fourth, relationships deepen. You stop tolerating surface-level connections because you don't have time for them. And fifth, you become more present. You're not lost in imagined futures or past regrets. You're here, now, doing what matters with the time you have left. Death awareness also liberates you from fear. Fear of failure? You're gonna die anyway, so why not try? Fear of others' opinions? Those people will die too and forget you. Fear of losing status or possessions? You can't take any of it with you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Soon you'll be ashes or bones, a mere name at most, and even that is just sound, an echo." This isn't depressing. This is freedom. When you realize that everything external is temporary, you stop being enslaved by it. Your power comes from within, your character, your choices, your actions. These are the only things that are truly yours until your last breath. Steve Jobs, after being diagnosed with cancer, said something powerful. "Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've found to help me make big decisions in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, simply falls away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important." A man who built an empire not by accumulating, but by eliminating the unnecessary. He lived Memento Mori without knowing the Latin. When you build your life with death as your advisor, you stop living for applause and start living for impact. You stop collecting experiences and start creating meaning. You stop postponing conversations and start having them today. Because you understand deeply that today might be all you have. Your challenge. Tonight, before you sleep, do 2 things. First, calculate your remaining days using the formula I gave you. Write it down. Put it where you'll see it every morning. Second, spend 10 minutes with your eyes closed, imagining your death. Not in a morbid way, in a clarifying way. Ask yourself, if I died tomorrow, what would I regret not doing? What conversations would remain unsaid? What would I wish I had spent more time on and less time on? The answers will tell you exactly what needs to change. Memento Mori isn't a philosophy for the weak. It's a practice for men who have the courage to face their mortality and use it as fuel to build something that matters. Until then,